Can you all remain standing for a moment of silent prayer and meditation? Thank you. We may all be seated. Good morning, honorable members. Let me take the honor of acknowledging our honorable Premier, MECs, members of the Executive Council, leaders of political parties, Chief Whip and Deputy Chief Whip, all members of the Provincial Legislature. You are all welcome. Let me also welcome all our visitors. And while I do so, indicate that we do have rules that govern how members conduct themselves in our sittings, but also we do have rules that govern how stakeholders that are attending our sittings should actually conduct themselves. So you are not expected to participate in the proceedings, which means you can't clap hands and ululate or do any other things. And I will also request that your phones should be on silence, because I know that families know that you are attending this session, so we don't want to be disturbed by any ringing phones, but I know that as leaders or as adults, you might be required urgently, so putting it on silence is what we are also requesting from you. Thank you very much. I know that Chief Whip will receive one apology from MEC Chilwane, and I send it back because it was not signed by yourself, but the reason is understood, because he's actually gone to the school where there are 2 learners that have passed on. But I'm worried that through the rules, it should come via your office, unless you actually want to acknowledge that I can only accept that. But I know the reason is valid. So if you can just comment on that.
No, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. There are 2 reasons Member Chilwan, who is also a member of the Executive Council, won't be here. One is the urgent business on attending to a learner who has drowned, 2 learners. But the second one is he will be conferred with his MBA. He will be conferred with his MBA today, so he's graduating. Thank you very much, and therefore we accept his apology.
No, as long as you acknowledge that, because if it comes to me directly, I will send it back. Because the rules require that the whips of parties are the ones that actually send apologies on behalf of members. But thank you very much. I think that's the only apology that we have received so far. Let me, in terms of announcement, first send our deepest condolences to the 2 families, the school, of those 2 learners that have drowned. And I'm sure with our portfolio committee, including the MEC, that matter is also receiving attention to give support to the families. But we also want to send our heartfelt condolences to the ANC caucus for the loss of one of their staff members who was working with the Deputy Chief Whip, Mr. Fusi Khatebe, who will be buried this coming weekend. And I know that it has not been a smooth sailing for the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip in the past week after we received those sad news, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. But I also wish to officially announce in this House of the mutual departure of Mr. Skosana, who is no longer the Secretary of the Gauteng Legislature, and the LSB has taken a decision that Mr. Makamba will be acting with all the related responsibilities. I know that you are already aware, but I felt it will be important that I actually announce.
Hooray!
So those are the only announcements that I have. Let me check if is there any member who wants to do any announcement. There is none. Thank you very much. In terms of Rule 79, subsection 1, there are no MEC statements. In terms of Rule 81, subsection 1, member statements, starting with Advocate Litswalo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. When the 6th legislative term began in 2019, the Petitions Standing Committee adopted the petitions backlog clearance strategy. One of its objectives was to review the Gauteng Petitions Act, Act number 5 of 2002, as 17 years had passed without it being reviewed. Today, I have the great pleasure of providing an update of the progress the committee has made in reviewing this critical piece of legislation. It is important beforehand that we reflect on the significance of the humble act of petitioning. The act of petitioning is rooted in South Africa's history of protest. Despite it being a form of benevolent vigilantism utilized by mission-educated African men, it empowered African colonial subjects. In the turn of the 19th century, prominent Kholwa individuals, or believers, if you will, like Magema Fuze and John Langalibalele Dube, used the humble instrument of petitioning to play a role of unofficially playing oversight on the colonial government. Professor Hlonipha Mokoena, in a 2021 work titled Vigilance, Petitions, Politics, and the African Christian Convents of the 19th century, writes that both literate and illiterate Africans use the mechanism of petitioning to invoke the notion of a vigilance, as their watchfulness over the actions and policies of successive colonial governments who constituted vigilantism. Just 4 years after the birth of a democratic South Africa, the Gauteng Provincial Legislature passed a remarkable piece of legislation, which was the first in the country to give expression to the provision of the Constitution, specifically Section 17. Section 118 imposes a duty on the legislature to facilitate public involvement in its legislative processes. For the first time, African people, now as citizens, could legally submit a petition, unlike our forefathers, John Dube and Magema Fuze. The Gauteng Petitions Act of 1998 breathed life to Section 17 of the Constitution by creating a piece of legislation that enunciated how the petitioning system would work, thereby infusing accountability. 4 years after the Act was passed, the context to which the Act was being utilized had changed, and the Act needed to mirror the society it now served, and the Act was amended in 2002. Legislation needs to be reviewed so that assessments and evaluations are done to see whether the piece of legislation still addresses the problem it was created to fix. The problem statement which initiated and guided the reviewal of the Act was threefold. Firstly, and this is where we are, there was an inordinate amount of local government petitions, whilst local government have Section 79 committees. Secondly, a lack of responsiveness by authorities. Thirdly, junior officials being delegated to appear in front of the committee to answer to petitions. Process maps, analysis, and comparisons were done against petition legislation and petitioning processes from other jurisdictions, namely Scotland, Germany, Nordic countries. Moreover, comparisons were done with other provincial petition legislations in the Republic, and importantly, delving into internal process maps and carried out to fine-tune possible solutions to the problem statement. From its historical roots as an act of benevolent vigilantism and a mechanism of unofficial oversight, the act of petitioning has never been a polite, ineffectual method of politics. The act of petitioning has been and continues to be a mechanism to hold the executive accountable to service delivery shortcomings. These amendments, which we will be launching, only seek to enhance the objectives of the Petitions Act and calls for all those in the accountability ecosystem to carry their weight and service the people of Gauteng. By doing this, we will ensure that the notions of vigilance remain the core value of the petitioning process, and the executive takes heed of the significance and vitalness of this humble yet steadfast tool of public participation. To this end, the Petition Standing Committee, on the 2nd of May, will hold a targeted stakeholder session with the provincial executive in the province, SALGA, and all municipalities to ensure that they are taken on board as we revolutionize this piece of legislation. There's also a need to ensure uniformity in all the bylaws and policies that regulates the management and processing of petitions in the province. So we're essentially going to harmonize the petitioning process in the entirety of the province through the introduction of the new Petitions Act. The Amendment Petitions Act will also provide the norms and standards for the municipalities within the province of Gauteng. Members of the legislature are therefore called upon to support and rally behind this process. The amendment bill rather, will be formally tabled in this House on the 10th of May. So as we rise, we will also be leaving residents of Gauteng with this critical amendment bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Malema.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to basically start off by extending my hand of profoundly heartfelt fraternal greetings to your good self, to the most progressive Premier, Premier Lesufi, Chief Whip of the majority, the people of Gauteng and the House at large. In accordance with Rule 81, Sub-Rule 1, I, Honorable Paul Malema of the ANC, tables the following member statement on freedom. Madam Speaker, the 27th of April 2024 will mark 30 years since the dawn of democracy in South Africa. April 27, Madam Speaker, is observed annually as a commemoration of the first democratic elections held in 1994, where for the first time ever in the history of South Africa, anyone could vote regardless of race. For the ANC, this is a milestone achievement as the organization reflects on the progress it has made on its vision to create a united, prosperous, non-racial, non-sexist and democratic society. Madam Speaker, facts indicate that the ANC has, however, has over these 30 years made remarkable progress in its vision. I must acknowledge that this journey has not been without its challenges, Madam Speaker. To date, we are still grappling with the challenges of inequality, poverty and unemployment, which are serious threat to our democratic gains. Despite these challenges, Madam Speaker, over 45% of the seats in Parliament are held by women, and the literacy rate for young people aged between 15 and 24 is 100%, while adult literacy increased to 89% in 2022 from 64% in 1996. More than 5.8 million people are on antiretroviral treatment. In 2022, South Africa's real GDP was at 360.7 billion US dollars, while it stood at 187.4 billion US dollars in 1994. To the people of South Africa, Madam Speaker, 29 May 2024 is a time where we must make a right choice to vote for a political party that has prioritized the lives of all South Africans regardless of race, that being the ANC. I want us to remember the sacrifices by those who came before us. In the words of the late Chris Hani, and I quote, open quote, "I have never wanted to spare myself because I feel there are people who are no longer around and died for this struggle. What right do I have to hold back, to rest, to preserve my health, to have time with my family, when there are other people who are no longer alive, when they sacrificed what is precious, namely life itself, Madam Speaker, I want to remind South Africans that the ANC still remains the only national liberation instruments in their hands, and they must vote for the ANC come 29 May 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Time up.
You
Honorable
wish?
Mukhale.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. In accordance with Rule 81 of 1, I, Honorable Refilwe Mukhale of the ANC, tables the following member statement on the lack of accountability by the DA in Tshwane. Madam Speaker, despite the DA's loud claim of clean governance where they govern, Auditor General report bore holes into the myth or which has been sold to South Africans at every turn. In her damning report for the year end 30 June 2023, AG is raising a red flag against the City of Tshwane's inability to record employee costs as required by the standard of general recognized accounting practice. It was found that basic salaries stated at 7.6 million were overstated by 1.9 million due to employees receiving salaries after their service ended. This level of corruption deserves probing by relevant authorities and should not be allowed to continue unabatedly with impunity. Based on empirical evidence contained in the AG's report, we have identified concerning trends indicating the DA's inability to govern stemming from issues such as inadequate financial management. Through the lens informed by principles of natural justice and inductive reasoning, there is correlation between the implementation of Political Funding Act and the surge in corruption within municipalities led by the DA. This legislation effectively prohibits political parties from accepting funding from dubious sources, a practice that was prevalent
Honorable
in the
Mukhale,
past.
time is up, please.
The time is up.
Musito.
Oh,
The
thank
time
you
is
very much, Speaker. We
The
are
time
saying
is
that
up.
the people of Tshwane
Honorable Musito.
deserve.
Honorable Musito.
Thank you very much. How about Committee?
Madam Speaker, the Premier of Gauteng, the Chief Whip of Majority Party, members of the Executive, and most importantly, the people of Gauteng. In accordance with Rule 81, I, Honorable Thabise Musito of the African National Congress, tables the following member statement on Freedom Month. Madam Speaker, the month of April is known as the Freedom Month in South Africa. This month will go down in the archives of our history, whereby South Africans across all races participated in all-inclusive, non-racial democratic election in 1994. Accordingly, annually on the 27th, we celebrate Freedom Day in line with international trends. The Freedom Month is loaded with lots of equally important historical occurrences that ushered in freedom of our country. Just to mention the few, Madam Speaker, the ANC Youth League was established on April the 2nd, 1994. Comrade Chris Hani, the then General Secretary of South African Communist Party, as Chief of Staff of Mkondo Wesizwe, was assassinated in April the 10th in 1993. The assassination of Chris Hani led to an agreement that first ever democratic election should take place on the April 27 in 1994. Comrade Solomon Mahlangu, a struggle activist and combatant of ANC military wing Mkondo Wesizwe, was executed in April the 6th, 1979 by a barbaric apartheid government. On April 6, 2024, the ANC-led Gauteng provincial government under the capable leadership of Panyaza Lesufi announced a massive 23.8 billion skills training for the province. The program will benefit nearly 500,000 unemployed Gauteng people. Now, the constitution of our country implores the government of the day to improve and render services to the masses. Based on this background, the ANC Gauteng Department of Transport and Logistics under leadership of Mekidi Boni Dialetlabela registered but not limited to the following milestones: the upgrade of K46, completed the upgrade of K73, completed major rehabilitations of R42 road at the intersections of R57, completed the rehabilitation project road in Sidibeng region, completed works on M10 sinkhole. It is noteworthy to mention that the department was able to meet majority of its set performance target. More projects are planned to be completed during the current 2024-25 financial year. Madam Speaker, I therefore want to quote Solomon Mahlangu when he said,
Thank you. Time up.
I therefore take this opportunity to address this.
Honorable Dikhamela, Dr. Dikhamela.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Not Dr. Dikhamela. I'm going to present this member statement regarding EMS recruitment in Gauteng. Madam Speaker, I rise today to congratulate the African National Government-led Gauteng province for their commitment to invest in the future of emergency care in our province. The recent announcement that 1,150 emergency care interns have been appointed through Gauteng EMS is a testament to the dedication and the hard work of our government to ensure a skilled and capable workforce in the field of emergency care. Madam Speaker, these interns will receive a 12-month stipend of 5,000 to support them in their training and development, helping them to become employable and market-ready in the field of emergency care. This initiative will provide valuable experience and training to these interns and improve the emergency response and turnaround times in healthcare, which has been of serious concern, whilst also addressing the critical shortage of skilled healthcare workers in the area of emergency. The total number of interns contracted on the project is 1,091, comprising of more than 2/3 of females. Malibongwe, at 783 and 308 males. This interns bears testimony to the fact that Gauteng government is serious about women empowerment, and the recruitment process is ongoing to meet the 1,150 target mentioned above. Honorable members, the selection criteria for permanent positions in this project are very rigorous owing to the nature of the job. Amongst others, the interns are required to have a Code EC1 driver's license with PDP, compliance with HPCSA registration, updated CPD portfolio, completion of CPD program, clinical assessment theory and practice, task assessment survey, driving assessment, successful interview process, and satisfy the medical surveillance. Madam Speaker, the African National Congress-led government in Gauteng has consistently demonstrated their commitment to improving access to quality healthcare service for all residents.
Honorable Dikhamela, I said time up.
Oh, hoi hoi, Speaker, hoi hoi.
Time up. Oh, not bad.
Honorable Litsia Mkhali.
Honorable Speaker, I get to be me to Zwaga Kimikail and Nagaskatla Gabalmatat. Nakele Mapi for Mokhale Litsi of the ANC tables the following member statement on the achievements of the Department of Economic Development. Madam Speaker, one of the significant achievements of the ANC-led government in this six-term administration is the initiation and passing of the Township Economic Development Act. which provided a legal framework to institutionalize the development of Gauteng township economy. Honorable members, today is the second last sitting before we conclude the cycle of the 6th-term administration of Gauteng provincial government. In the last 5 years, the ANC-led Department of Economic Development has implemented programs that strengthened the black broad-based economic empowerment in the Gauteng city region. Amongst those is the introduction of the 45 township enterprise zones, which were identified following a comprehensive Gauteng special economic analysis to ignite economic development as envisioned by TIDA. Madam Speaker, through the Department of Economic Development, the ANC-led government established a special project management unit to oversee coordination and the implementation of TIDA programs for growing an inclusive economy that creates decent jobs, which promote conducive environment for Gauteng economic empowerment and strengthen the fight against poverty while prioritizing the poor and marginalized in our society. These economic initiatives, Madam Speaker, are in line with the NC's roadmap of Growing Gauteng Together 2030, which speaks of increased ownership and participation by historically disadvantaged individuals. In the ANC, government occupy a strategic role in providing services to needy communities across the boundaries of Gauteng province through the programs of the ANC-led Department of Economic Development. The lives of people who would otherwise not be able to participate in the economy are transformed. This initiative, Honorable Speaker, translates into the many tintswalos we are witnessing in our province. A good story to tell. A legal act confirming that Sunrise in Gauteng has not found us where some side has left us. Thank you. Awungame today's speaker, man.
Honorable Ntsege.
Thank you, Speaker. In terms of Rule 81.1, Gauteng residents have been let down by the Gauteng Department of Social Development, whose budgets are inconsistent with the statutory mandates and whose performance over the years has been concerning. The department has decreased statutory programs like older persons, persons who live with disabilities, orphans and vulnerable children, and HIV programs, but has drastically increased non-statutory programs like poverty alleviation programs. It is concerning that programs that have been increased include school uniforms, dignity packs, and these are programs that have failed in 8 years. Sometimes common sense is not common. Despite this, MEC Mbali assured the department's portfolio committee that in October last year, they will utilize the entire budget and take measures to comply with supply chain protocols and treasury regulations. But this is a very rare case as the department continues to fail. Madam Speaker, I put to you, it is unacceptable that programs that have consistently funneled funds back to Treasury for the last 8 years are now getting a significant increase. I guess this is where I'm saying once again, common sense is not always common. But with poverty alleviation programs, the department is taking SASSA's work, especially when you realize that within SASSA are food parcels, and these are not statutory for Gauteng department. Is it possible that MEC is pressing food parcels, dignity packs, and school uniform as part of the ANC's campaign because we are going to an election? Gauteng citizens are being compromised by a department that has demonstrated a lack of understanding of its responsibility.
Honorable Ntsege, time up. Time up. Honorable Shabalala.
Hi, Alicia. Hi, Ram. Hi, Undi. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. No, I didn't go.
Been without electricity due to malfunctioning and broken transformers. Despite assurances from the Gauteng provincial government that the issue will be resolved. Due to the lack of electricity, some of the residents have faced significant problems, including business closures, increased crime, hindered academic progress due to students' inability to study and prepare for examinations. Madam Speaker, it is said that nothing has been done to restore electricity despite the DA submitting a petition to the NCOP in 2022 entitled Give Them Full and Its Power Back, calling for the end of electricity blackout in areas such as Everton, Sebokeng, Sharpeville, Buipatong, and Bophelo. It is also disheartening to note that the promise made in 2023 during the Select Committee of Petitions hearing, attended by myself as a petitioner, ESCOM, Mfuleni, Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, to repair faulty and replace broken transformers by the 24th of March 2023 has not been fulfilled. Equally, Premier Panyaza Lesufi's promise to install new transformers in Mfuleni deserves no comment, as it is another of his hollow promises. Madam Speaker, it is shocking that some of the residents of our province lack access to essential services such as electricity, while the current government is on record claiming to have done a lot for our people in the past 3 decades and promising to do more. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
That concludes member statement. Honourable members, I'm advised that by our residential nurse that there's a flu vaccine for those that need it downstairs, so that in your spare time you can go downstairs just to take a flu vaccine. Premier, you can also join. You are a member if you need it. Yeah. At the ground floor, no, what I'm saying is I've been advised that there's a flu vaccine. All members who need to take it, they can go downstairs. Yeah, vaccine is an injection. Thanks, Honourable Nell. Yes, injection, that's how Honourable Nell explains it. So the nurse is available until 16 hours. For those that are not aware, if you go to the basement, just close to the door where the Premier enters when he comes into the legislature on your left-hand side, that is where Nurse Tebi is located. Thank you very much. In terms of Rule 120, I'm going to call upon the Chief Whip to present a motion without notice.
Honourable Speaker, thank you very much. I, Member Eli Makubela, the Chief Whip of the Majority Party in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, hereby tables the following motion in terms of Rule 120, read together with Rule 121 and 122 as follows. Noting that the following report was not programmed for today's House sitting of Tuesday, the 16th of April 2024, that one, that the final voting mandate on the National Small Enterprises Amendment Bill B16B/2/23, Section 76 Bill, and therefore I request that the House resolves as following, Madam Speaker, that we add the report on the final voting mandate on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill to the orders of the day. I so move, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Any seconder? Honourable Malima or Honourable Nell? Let me allow Honourable Nell.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second.
Seconding. I now put a question. All those in favour say yes. Yes. All not in favour say yes. No. The yes have it. Yes. The motion is adopted by the House. Can I also check if is there a member who wants to give a notice of a motion in terms of Rule 121? There is none. Thank you very much. Let me request the Secretary to read the first order.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Economic Development Portfolio Committee report on the final mandate on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill B16B of 2023 of the Constitution, Section 76 of the Constitution. bill. Thank you.
Honorable Mfikwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Acknowledgements to the Premier, the Chief Whip of the Majority, Deputy Speaker, all committee chairs and honorable members and our guests in the gallery. As the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, I therefore table the report on behalf of the committee on the final mandate on the National Small Enterprises Amendment Bill, B16B of 2023. The following process was followed, Madam Speaker. That the Speaker referred the National Enterprise Amendment Bill to the section, in terms of Section 76, to the Portfolio Committee on Economic Development, which is referred to for consideration as of Rule 248, 1A, read with 251 and 251. On Tuesday, the 6th of February 2024, the National Department of Small Business Development made a presentation on the National Small Enterprises Bill, B16B of 2023. The permanent delegate also attended that meeting in order to brief the committee on the processes related to the consideration of the bill. Subsequently, the Gauteng Department of Economic Development made its presentations on the views of the executive on the matters related to the amendment bill. At its meeting dated the 8th of February 2024, a research analysis focusing on the socio-economic impact of the bill was therefore presented. On Tuesday, the 20th of February, Madam Speaker, the legal opinion was presented by the NCOP as well as by the legal unit of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. The committee, in fulfilling its mandate, published adverts on the following newspapers on the 9th of February, Business Day, and the BLT newspapers. To further publicize the processes of the bill, all GPL social media accounts were utilized to communicate the processing of the bill. The publicized advertorials and social media accounts enabled the committee to request members of the public and stakeholders to attend the public hearings so that they could make their comments on the bill. And the committee subsequently convened its public hearing on the 15th of February 2024 in Bronkhorstspruit. In addition to the convening of those public hearings, the committee also requested for written submission from stakeholders and interested parties on the bill in view to solicit proposals for the amendments. The committee then deliberated and adopted the report on the negotiating mandate of the National Small Enterprises Amendment Bill, B16B of 2023, at its meetings convened on the 15th of March 2024. Further, the negotiating mandate was then transmitted to the NCOP Select Bill on Trade and Industry, Economic Development, Small Business Development, Tourism, as well as Employment and Labour, to follow the Select Committee for proposed amendments to the Portfolio Committee. However, we are informed that the proposed amendments were not agreed to by the Select Committee as reflected in its meeting minutes that were presented to the committee. The committee then deliberated and adopted the report on the final voting mandate on the bill in a meeting that was convened on Monday, the 15th of April, 2024. Just to quickly take us through the details of the bill, Madam Speaker, the bill of 2023 seeks to, inter alia, amend the National Small Enterprises Bill, Act, not Bill, of 102 that was passed in 1996, primarily to provide for the establishment and registration in line with the Companies Act 71 of 2008 of the Small Enterprises Development Finance Agency and the subsequent de-establishment of the Small Enterprise Financing Agency, SIFA, the Cooperative Banks Development Agency, CBDA, and the Small Enterprise Development Agency, SIDA, and for the establishment of the Office of the Small Enterprise and Ombuds Service. The bill further enables the minister to declare certain practices in relation to small enterprises to be prohibited as unfair trading practices and make regulations with regard thereto. The bill also proposes an amendment to the Section 22 of the Act to bring that section in line with a recent Constitutional Court judgment. Objectives of the bill, Madam Speaker, is that the bill seeks to amend the National Small Enterprise Act of 1996 in order to amend, delete, insert, as well as substitute certain definitions. Also to provide for the report of the advisory body, to provide for the establishment of the Small Enterprise Development Agency, Finance Agency, and provide for the functions of the agency. To ensure the provision of financial and non-financial support services to small enterprises, promote the development of sustainable and responsible cooperative banking, also provide for the establishment of the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombudsman Services, enable to an equitable trading environment for small enterprises through provision of affordable and effective access to justice, empower the minister to declare certain practices in relation to small enterprises, to prohibit as unfair certain trading practices, and to provide the transitional arrangement necessitated by the establishment of the agency. To effect consequential or necessary amendments to the Cooperative Banks Act of 2007 and to the Cooperative Act of 2005, to provide for, and also to provide for matters connected thereof. The final position, Madam Speaker, is adopted by the committee. After due consideration, the Portfolio Committee of Economic Development, in accordance with Rule 1172C, read together with Rule 164, the committee presents to this August House the report on the final mandate in support of the National Small Enterprises Amendment Bill, B16B of 2023, Section 76 Bill, as referred, and recommend its adoption by this House. In terms of Rule 248, 2, 3, 4, and 5, read together with Section 65 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the Portfolio Committee of Economic Development recommends that the House confer authority on the Gauteng Provincial Delegate to the National Council of Provinces to vote in favor of the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill, B16B of 2023. Acknowledgements, Madam Speaker. Quickly, we would like to appreciate and express our appreciation to all members of the Portfolio Committee for their commitment on the oversight and lawmaking processes that seeks to make the lives of our communities better. The gratitude goes to Honorable Mkungeli, Honorable Lutswalo, Honorable Litsie Mokhale, Honorable Nkosi Malobane, Honorable Atkinson, Honorable Badenhorst, Honorable Du Plessis, Honorable Alberts, and Honorable Adams. Further appreciation goes to our alternate members, Honorable Bosch, Honorable Mukwebo, Honorable Hoffman. It is indeed an honor to lead such a hard-working team. On behalf of the committee, we want to appreciate, Madam Speaker, and pass our gratitude to the following: the Group Committee Coordinator, Mr. Chumbudibe, Researcher, Mr. A. Malapane, Ms. M. Muhluri, Senior Committee Coordinator, Mr. Chis Kosana, Committee Administrator, Ms. V. Mukubetsi, our Hansard Recorder, Mr. S. Minyuku, our Public Participation Officer, Mr. B. Lomo, Services Officers, Ms. Z. Mabaso, our Communications Officer, Mr. Chindo, Information Officer, Ms. A. Nechivuyu, Ms. M. Kekana, our Committee Legal Advisor, Ms. T. Ranaka, NCOP Coordinator, Ms. J. Muweti, and our NCOP Liaison Officer for their devoted assistance and to the committee and making sure that our work is made better. On that note, Madam Speaker, we're presenting to the House for adoption of our final mandate, and as such, we are saying remojo, we are making the impossible possible. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any seconder to the report?
Thank you, Speaker. I'm rising to second the report.
Seconded. I now put a question. All those in favor say yes. All not in favor say
Yes.
no. The yes have it. The report is adopted by the House. The second item is the Premier's question time in terms of Rule 138, starting with a question from Honorable Simang to the Premier.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Good morning to Honourable Premier, fellow members and members of the public. Premier, with regards to the crime prevention wardens, could you please indicate, A, are the crime prevention wardens now permanently employed? 2, what is the cost in rents and cents? And 3, which departments will be covering the costs of their permanent employment? Thank you very much.
Honourable Premier.
Thanks so much, Madam Speaker. Pardon my voice, I'm not feeling well. Member Solim Sima, over the weekend, I led a delegation of Lobola negotiations. You know, normally after Lobola negotiations, there is some mkomboti that is circulated. So when we were drinking that mkomboti, Madam Speaker, we went into the wee hours of the morning, and there was a granny that was seated there, and we felt pity for the granny to say, go and sleep. And the granny said, no, the thing that you are drinking mkomboti from, kiskiki saka, then so it has affected my voice. So my apologies.
I know Honourable Nell didn't hear that, but it's fine. Let's continue. Let's.
Honourable Nell, she said that the bucket that we're drinking from, it is its midnight twilight. So you can imagine the effect on my voice. Apologies about that. Thank you so much, Member Msimang. Member Msimang, our commitment to appoint wardens as permanent employees remains intact and on track. Following the late approval from the Minister of Justice and the concurrent support we received from the Minister of Police, the wardens were appointed as peace officers, and they had to undergo a training program as peace officers first before they can be permanently employed. While undergoing this training, the department is now engaging with the Department of Public Service and Administration to approve the organizational structure of the department to accommodate and incorporate these new recruits. To date, 7,361 wardens have concluded this peace training, with 5,878 having received their certificates, thus paving the way for their permanent employment. In terms of cost, Member Msimang, is indeed troubling and worrying. When I was sitting here as the head of government business in this legislature, every time the then Premier tabled the budget, you indicated that the budget of fighting crime is too low. Now that we've increased the budget of fighting crime in this province from almost 900,000 to almost 2.4 billion rand, is now a problem. So there's a lack of inconsistency, but nevertheless, the cost in rents and cents as per the tabled budget speech by the MEC responsible for finance in this House on the 4th of March specifically indicate that we have allocated almost 900 million to fight crime through our wardens, and that the Department of Community Safety was appropriated by this House to be the custodian of this particular funds. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Honourable Msimang, is there a supplementary question or a short remark?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I don't think that the Premier has answered the question that I'd asked. The question I'd asked is very clear. I asked if they are permanently employed, yes or no. That's the first thing. The second thing, answered about where the money is coming from. The third thing is this now lying with the Department of Safety and Security? Those are the questions that had been asked, and none of them have been answered except of the budgetary impact of it. Thanks.
Honorable Premier.
Madam Speaker, we are the first ones to announce that peace wardens must be appointed permanently. And there are processes in this country to follow to appoint them permanently. I can't overlook those processes. And that is why I've indicated that our commitment to appoint them permanently still stands. The Minister of Justice and the Minister of Police indicated what kind of training they must go through for them to be appointed permanently. We are reporting almost 7,000 of them have concluded that training, thus paving a way for them to be appointed permanently. What more must I say? What more must I say?
Next question, Honorable Munyai to Honorable Premier.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity, and the people of Gauteng, Honorable the Premier, the Chief Whip of Majority Party, and esteemed honorable members. The question for the Premier stand as follows. Noting that the commitment of the ANC-led government to train 40,000 unemployed people in Gauteng province with artisanal skills, can the Honorable Premier indicate what artisanal skills is the training focusing on and why? Are the chosen artisanal courses accredited? What contribution will the trainees make to society after completion of the training? I thank you, the Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Premier.
Thanks so much, Madam Speaker. Thank you so much, Member Munyai. This is another proof that the commitment that we made during the State of the Province address to reskill almost 4,000 unemployed South Africans based in Gauteng within the shortest possible time has been realized. When we tabled this commitment, those on the opposite side thought that we were just talking without understanding what commitment we were making. Speaker, after we've made this announcement, we're inundated with various partnership proposals from various institutions coming from the private sector, public institutions, and many other institutions that are going to assist us to ensure that we train our young people. I'm pleased to announce that tomorrow we'll launch a massive employment opportunity for our young people with a private company called Take a Lot to ensure that those that are in business, in the townships, informal settlements, can be in a position to take them. So while we were preparing for the 40,000 opportunity, Member Munyai, through our own budget as the provincial government, the national government, through the Department of Employment and Labour, through the agency UIF, approached us to elevate our 40,000 proposal from 40,000 to almost 500,000 people that need to be given opportunity. In this regard, an initial amount of 8.4 billion was allocated for this commitment to allow young people to get opportunities in our province.
No work, let's talk.
The weekend that we've just come from, out of this particular program, we called upon unemployed people to visit their nearest schools so that they can make an application and be considered for these artisan skills. We are proud that we've attracted not less than 600,000 young people that approached us to make an application, snubbing those that made a public call for people to not come to these registration points because they accused us of gimmicks and playing with the souls of the unemployed. We are now ready to train these young people. We are now ready to receive these young people so that we can take them from the streets and deploy them inside the classrooms for them to get necessary skills for their future. So, Member Munyai, the skills that we have identified range from various institutions various sectors, and various services that we are sure that they will indeed bring an end to unemployment in our province. The sectors are agriculture, construction, safety, textile, education, health, mining, financial, engineering, hospitality, transport, energy, aviation, hygiene, ICT, wholesale, social services, furniture and manufacturing, food and beverages, insurance, arts and culture. Thus paving the way of creating new careers for a new Gauteng that will be ending unemployment in our time. We are indeed committed to ensure that all these applicants, besides those that came to our schools for application, the online registration through isa.labour.gov.za, it's still open, and those that were missing on this opportunity, we call them to take advantage of this. Yes, Honorable Munyai, with the skills intervention being part of this program, the provincial government is on course to better the lives of those that are unemployed and disparate. Thank you so much, Madam.
Any supplementary question or a short remark, Honorable Munyai?
Thank you, the Honorable Speaker. EP training. Training. CP SPAD. Nyabonga, no further follow-up.
Next question, Honorable Musito to Honorable Premier.
We need to train you.
Madam Speaker. Nna ke le motlhomphegi Nthabise Musito, ngwanyana Motswana, Kgabo, wa lefapha le letona la African National Congress, mokgatlo motona o senang thaka. Hereby request in terms of Rule 138, the placing of a question for oral reply by the Office of the Premier. Noting that in 2022, the Township Economic Development Act was anonymously adopted in this August House. Further noting that in his State of the Province address in 2023, the Premier of the ANC-led Gauteng provincial government outlined the commitments of the government of the people of Gauteng and highlighted the focus of township economy and the steps that the government will be taking to ensure that data is fully implemented. Ntate Lesufi, re kopa go botsa dipotso tse di latelang. What steps have the Office of the Premier taken to ensure that GPG departments implement data? Has the implementation of data helped in ensuring that township business fully participate in the economy of this country? If so, young Ntate Lesufi, how many of the Gauteng provincial government spend goes to the township business? Ke a leboga, Speaker.
Honorable Premier.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Let me thank Ngwana Motswana, Honorable Member Musito, Madam Speaker, again, during the State of the Province address, we made a firm commitment to reposition township businesses and ensure that the sponsor shops that are owned by South Africans are given the necessary support systems. Through the Township Economic Development Agency, we are proud to report that we are now approaching almost 700 new stores that we have refurbished under Kasum Noto, so that they can be easily identifiable and be supported as businesses owned by Gauteng people, so that Gauteng people can approach them for better support and support their own. We are also proud that we have put up almost new distribution centers in strategic townships, this serving as warehouses that our local businesses can utilize to get bulk services and thus saving in their businesses so that they can compete with those that are competing with them in the townships. We are further proud that we've developed what we call the last mile delivery program that link young people to commercial opportunities so that we can deliver goods nearer to where they are and that they don't have to leave their stalls to go and buy stock. And this Uberized service is to ensure that they can get stock at any time, any moment, utilizing the app that we've installed in their telephones. We've also made sure that backroom upgrade project is provided for economic opportunities that can bring income to those that are utilizing their own backrooms as businesses. We believe this, if properly customized, marketed correctly, they will push back the influx of foreign citizen business in our townships. To ensure that this is fulfilled, all these commitments are now part of the delivery agreement between the Premier and the MEC for Economic Development, so that this can be monitored and this can be traced, and then we can be in a position to determine that we get results. Member Musito, furthermore, the delivery agreements of all MECs have the following cross-cutting indicators that compels them to utilize Township Economic Development Act to ensure this government spends its money in townships. Following the adoption of the Act, we've taken the following steps. One, that we've established 45 special township enterprise zones where the following comprehensive special economic analysis is processed so that each and every zone can have each product line, so that we know in which zone we can buy whatever program that we need to buy. This will enforce that our hospitals, our schools, and all government businesses that are in the townships can strictly buy from these township businesses without going through tedious PFMA processes and ensure that we have this. We believe this is the best way to empower township businesses, and that government having its buying power, it must prioritize these 45 township enterprise zones for its services from our businesses. These services include buying tissue papers, electric bulbs, food, and many other services that are needed in our institutions, and we are now in discussion with the Department of Education to conclude this part with them as well. We've also established what we call the model standard bylaw to ensure that bylaws are adhered to, but bylaws are not used to deny an opportunity for young business people to do business in our townships. This, we finalized the relevant bylaws with all local government authorities in our province. We are also establishing what we call complementary instruments, which include township partnership funds, which we can fund any institution that needs proper funding from a Gauteng provincial government to establish SMMEs and provide the necessary support that they have. This instrument is popular with those that have received purchase orders from government departments but don't have money to service that particular purchase order. A special project management team has been established to oversee the coordination and implementation of these programs so that we provide the necessary support that is needed. Madam Speaker, since we have taken these decisions, in 2019-2020 financial year, this government spent 21 billion in the townships. In 2020-2021, this government has spent 24 billion in the townships. And in 2023-2024, we are en route to ensure that at least we reach that target of spending 35% of our budget in the townships, and thus making us the only single government in the entire country that has dedicated its services to support township businesses. We are indeed excited with this implementation, and will ensure that there's compliance, there's product development, and that will introduce new technologies to support small businesses, and that will fund innovative and good solutions so that our townships can reclaim its status and have businesses that are owned by South Africans, but most importantly, that are open to young women and young people and people with disability. And the government that I have the honor to lead want to make this pledge. We will spend money that we have to township businesses in Gauteng to ensure that no foreign business prosper at the expense of local businesses in our province. Thank you so much.
Any supplementary question or a short remark, Honorable Musito?
No, ke lebogile, Madam Speaker, se atla godimo ga se sengwe.
Next question, Honorable Ntsege to Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Speaker. Premier, on the 27th of February 2024, when responding to 3.PR004, you said you were concluding lifestyle audits on all heads of departments and members of the Executive Council. Media reports indicate that the Gauteng Social Development HOD, Matilda Gazella, has 2 SIU adverse findings against her, and in both instances, the recommendations were that she be referred to the NPA for criminal charges and for criminal investigations. With that in mind, were you aware of this SIU reports? Were you responsible for her appointment? If yes, did you consider the 2 SIU findings against her? Have you referred this HOD to NPA? And was this the only candidate suitable for this position given the SIU findings? I thank you.
Honorable Premier.
Thanks so much, Madam Speaker. Thanks so much, Member Ntsege. Mosotho mshwashwaila mapara ko bo motle. Ke a itebogela ngwaneso. I'm not sure about that part, but I'm just saying ke mosotho mshwashwaila ke mapara ko bo motle. Thanks so much for that particular question, Member Ntsege. The problem, Member Ntsege, is that we are falling on top each other with Member Msimang and Member Musito and Member who have asked me the same question. And I will respond because I've got all the answers that you need in the report. So it's just a detailed report on all the SIU's report on this matter. So I'll personally deliver it into your office so that you can read this report. It is important to clarify that on the 27th of February 2024, this year, there was no oral question tabled by the Premier relating to lifestyle audits. And to refer to that session is misleading this House. And on the 27th of February 2024, the question referred to as number 3PR004 was a question by Honorable N. Musito of the ANC regarding the drastic change in the living conditions of our people in the 26 townships in our province and over 700 informal settlements and 6 provincially owned hostels. I've attached the order paper of that day to prove that the allegations that I made in this particular House about lifestyle audits is incorrect. Notwithstanding that confusion, I've previously, in a written reply, responded to the same question, exactly the same question Honorable Ntsege is raising and Honorable Msimang, to Honorable Msimang, as a reply to PR031 in 2023. I've got the answer, I will give it to you immediately. That responds to exactly what you are asking, as well as PR005 in 2024, and I'm attaching it as Annexure C. And I've attached these previous responses for ease of reference so that the allegations that we have not acted or matters that we have represented in this particular House have been ignored can be proven as untrue. The question is, no, I have to give context. I have to give context. Yeah. No, indeed. Tembisa Robert Osital. I didn't. So feel free. So I want, Madam Speaker, if you don't mind, that I go to both annexures, and if I take time, please pardon me. But I have to because I've been asked in the House. This is PR031. It's a question from Member Ntsege. Sorry, it's Member Msimang. He asked me, can the Premier state that the report from the Special Investigating Unit, which was the subject of HOD of Social Development, Ms. Matilda Casella, if this report has been brought to the attention of the Premier. And I responded, as previously indicated, the vacant position was not advertised. It was filled by a lateral transfer of Ms. Casella. The employees who are subject to disciplinary hearings are not prohibited from being employed or transferred. The requirement is for their disciplinary hearing to be continued by their new employer. The advantage of this matter is that Ms. Casella is still within the employer of Gauteng government and that the disciplinary hearing will proceed and she will expect to appear before that disciplinary hearing. That's the question that you are answering. Ewi kopisitseng ko member Msimang, and you have reproduced the same question and you want me to answer it. And the simplest way is that I'm referring you to the answer that I gave to member Msimang. I thought you are coming from the same party called Democratic Party. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Any supplementary question or a short remark, Honorable Ntsakhe?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Premier, I'm very aware of PR 031. You didn't talk about whether you referred the HOD to the NPA for the criminal charges and the criminal investigations. You also failed to answer whether she was the only candidate suitable to lead social development. Well, let me help you. I have referred the matter to the Public Service Commission because I think you're failing in your duties. I've also referred the matter to the Public Protector because if somebody is being found wanting with adverse finding by the SIU, I do not understand how that person can then do, in your words, a lateral transfer to lead an even bigger department than the department they were in previously. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Premier.
Member Ntsakhe, you might be late because you are still going to refer it to the public. Wait. If you can listen, you'll see that what you, if you can listen, you will see that what you are saying will be meaningless. I'm saying to you, you say that you are going to take this matter to the Public Protector. And I'm saying to you, I've already taken it to the SIU, and the SIU has investigated, and they've given me a report last week. I'm going to give you the report of the SIU. So what we are doing, it's yes, I'm going to give it to you. But I'm saying I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you. But again,
let's avoid the dialogue. Let's avoid the dialogue.
Again, Member Ntsakhe, and I've made this commitment, Member Solim Simang knows. I said every report that comes from the SIU, the government that I have the honor to read, have no reason to hide them. I release all those reports. Because you copied somebody's question. You are not original.
Honorable
if you can be original,
please.
I will answer you. You copied somebody's question, grammar that is wrong, you copied it, the full stop that is now not supposed to be where it is, you copied it. What must I say? I can't. But let me respond. Member Ntsakhe, my dearest sister, let me respond. And I'm saying to you, you said this particular individual must not be appointed because there's an allegation against him. It does not work that way. You established a disciplinary commission. Because now I have received the report from the SIU, I'm establishing a disciplinary committee where this person must answer the allegations. That's how it works. I thought as a liberal party, you'll understand the rights of workers. But surely you don't. If there is an allegation, you subject it to a process after you've received a report. We are starting that report. But secondly, you are saying you are going to the Public Protector, Public Service Commission. You might be late because the contract of this individual is coming to an end at the end of April 2024. So allowed us to allow this. We have hired him because we don't want to fire that person unprocedurally and we found wrong by the courts and pay millions of rents to lawyers and to that individual. We are not prepared to do that. We will follow procedures to the latter until the matter is finalized. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
We don't fire people like black people.
That concludes the questions, colleagues. That concludes the questions to the Premier. We're now going to deal with the questions for oral reply to the executive in terms of Rule 134. Thank you, Chief Whip. Chief Whip, thank you. Thank you, Chief Whip. Honorable Kanyile to MEC for Community Safety.
Thank you, Speaker. The Gauteng Department of Community.
Yes, Honorable Kanyile. Yes.
Okay. The Gauteng Department of Community Safety has, through its Gauteng Safety Strategy 2020-2025, committed to the realization of the vision where Gauteng citizens are and feel safe. Several surveys, including crime statistics of the South African Police Services, perception of crime survey, the quality of life survey, and others, suggest that the realization of this noble vision of Gauteng citizens who are and feel safe through combating and preventing crime may be difficult to be realized in full sooner. May the MEC for Community Safety and Security indicate the following as it relates to fighting crime per the Gauteng Safety Strategy 2020-2025. 1. If the collaboration with the South African Police Services on key strategic programs has and will continue to accelerate efforts towards the realization of the vision. 2. If the efforts by municipalities in their establishment and ensuring functioning community safety forums and the crime prevention mandate of their metro police departments have and will continue to accelerate efforts towards the reduction of crime in their communities. 3. If the crime-fighting mandate of the Gauteng Traffic Police and the recent extended responsibility on the crime prevention wardens and the intended technology have and will continue to accelerate efforts towards the realization of the vision. 4. If the support provided by the Department of Community Police if the support provided by the department to community police forums and their structures like patrollers and others has and will continue to accelerate efforts towards the realization of the vision. And lastly, if the vision or if the various key and strategic societal mobilization against crime campaigns have and will continue to accelerate efforts towards the realization of the vision. Like all others, Madam Speaker, I see today we mentioned, first of all, let's correct, I'm not a member of the DA, I'm still a member of the ANC, but I know that there was a mistake and it was corrected. I accept the apology, but also, Lina Kibeamo, Yimuso Kailewa Kanyilongwa, so Chole, Omenadlebo, Nendlebo, Zanoni, Siabo.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Ngibingelele amalunga wonke weShamthetho and greetings to our Premier. And thank you very much, Honorable Member Soqhaile Kanyile for the question. In answering the first question on the collaboration with the South African Police Service, it is important to indicate that as the provincial government, we had adopted the GGT 2030 5-year policing plan, which was approved and also it was implemented. Consistently, the SAPS, even when they report, they make sure that they report in accordance to that policing plan. The department strongly believes that the collaboration with the SAPS on key strategic programs is key in realizing a Gauteng where its citizens are and actually are feeling safe. However, the department notes that on quarterly basis, the SAPS has not been performing satisfactorily in terms of key certain performance indicators of the GGT policing plan. To illustrate this point, in the quarter 3 2023-2024 statistics, this was the performance with respect to the GTT 20 policing plan. In areas where gaps are identified, the SAPS leadership is made aware through these quarterly review sessions and other mechanisms that were put in place as the department. It is also important to indicate that the realizing a Gauteng where the citizens are safe and feel safe are actually also dependent on other factors, such as focused, integrated and intelligence-driven policing and tackling of social crime factors contributing to crime, and the participation of other departments in ensuring that the areas where people stay and live are actually safer and they are accessible also to the police. In answering question number 2, the establishment ensuring proper functioning of community safety forums is important in the reduction of crime in communities. This is because of the coordination of social crime prevention that these structures should assume in this regard. However, unstable political landscape also affects the establishment of these community safety forums, because most of them are actually headed by municipalities, and the MMCs at a municipal level are the ones that are responsible for that. There are some metros that have not been reporting consistently, and some municipalities are actually responding. As it relates to the role of metro police departments in the reduction of crime, these entities assumed a pivotal role in the implementation of the GGT 5-year policing plan. However, more needs to be done in this regard. My apology. In answering question 3, this policing solution will, in the long term, contribute to the reduction of crime, especially if there was support from SAPS and the MPDs. Already the province is recording reduction in certain crime levels that are policeable, and this is a trend. What is not policeable is your contact crimes. Those actually increase the number of statistics, especially when it comes to contact crime. Community police forums and patrollers also have augmented limited police resources and are contributing to crime reduction through various programs that they also have within their areas. And the enhanced police visibility in communities also assist. In answering question 5, some social movements against crime assume a critical role in crime-fighting efforts. Hence, the involvement of business people, the hostels, the taxi association, the private security companies, the community safety structures that many people are participating, including community patrollers and your conventional patrollers, in interventions aimed at tackling crime in the province. This approach is critical because there is an acknowledgement of the fact that the police alone will not win the battle against crime, but all of us have to put our shoulder to the wheel in ensuring that we fight crime here in Gauteng, including more boots on the ground and more visibility of the law enforcement within our areas. Thank you, Nyabo.
Any supplementary question or a short remark, Honorable Kanyile?
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Just a comment that I think that one of the key and critical things that we need to do is to strengthen our coordination part of all these law enforcement agencies and the efforts that are put there. And lastly, there is also a need maybe to even say that we need to ensure that we communicate properly so that when surveys like these ones come out and have questions around whether we can be able to implement what we say we're implementing, that they can be responded to. Thank you very much, Speaker.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. We note the comments from honorable members. We will endeavor to implement. Thank you, Siabo.
Thank you. Next question, Honorable Ntsakhe to MEC for Social Development.
Thank you, Speaker. With regards to the monitoring and evaluation of NPOs, how many people have been selected to serve on this panel? What are the names and surnames of the successful panelists? How much will they be paid for their work? How long will they serve? Please indicate the starting date and the date of their contract. And what is the scope of the work that they will be performing? Thank you.
Honorable MEC. Honorable MEC Hlophe. Okay, we'll double check. At the time when she's ready, the team is checking on her. Let's go to the next question. Honorable Miller, still it's Honorable Social Development. Let's take Honorable Nell to MEC for Roads and Transport. Your question was still checking on Honorable MEC for Social Development. Honorable Nell, you can ask your question to MEC for Roads and Transport.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To the MEC for Roads and Transport, with regards to the road bridges falling in the municipality of Johannesburg, can the MEC please indicate the following? Has the Gauteng Department of Roads and Transport and Logistics been furnished by a report by the Johannesburg municipality or the Joburg Roads Agency about the state of road bridges in Johannesburg? Secondly, if yes, according to the report, what percentage of road bridges in Johannesburg are in a good, fair and bad condition respectively? Thirdly, what action will be taken to refurbish or maintain road bridges in Johannesburg that are in a bad condition? How many of these road bridges should be closed because they are no longer safe for use? And fifthly, please provide a copy of that report. Thank you.
Honorable MC.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and good morning to colleagues in the House. Speaker, maybe perhaps one needs to reflect that coalition governments are really not working for people of Gauteng in municipalities, and this is one but an example of service delivery issues that people of Johannesburg are faced with. And to answer question one of Honorable Nell, the response is no. The city of Joburg has not formally finished as a Department of Roads and Transport in Gauteng with a bridge condition report for structures falling within the municipalities, except that they will make reflections on that in our engagements in meetings, but they've not formally submitted that. And the response to question two is also no. And question three, the bridge infrastructure falls under the jurisdiction of City of Joburg, and the department cannot implement any repair maintenance work on the infrastructure unless a special agreement is made between ourselves as a Department of Roads and Transport and City of Joburg. And I think 4 and 5 is responded to by 3. Thank you.
Any supplementary question or short remark, Honorable Nell?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, I'm going to put it to the MEC that she's lying, that her department did indeed receive a report from the Johannesburg Roads Agency, and if she's not aware of it, then her department is not being honest with her, and she should take action if that is the indication. In fact, that report that her department was furnished with actually shows a shocking number of bridges in Joburg that are unsuitable for use and can collapse at any moment. So I think it's a highly irresponsible answer from the MEC to take the ostrich route and put her head in the sand.
Honorable MEC.
I think, Madam Speaker, I tried to say to Member Nell that a formal report was never submitted to us. All that we know is reflections that will be made in different meetings that there's 69 bridges that are in a bad state, but we have not received a formal report as a Department of Roads and Transport. I can never lie to the August House, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
The next question, Honorable Nell to MEC for Finance.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Well, where does the 69 come from then? With regard to the recent switching off of the ETAL gantries and the MEC's indication that a loan will be obtained to finance the Gauteng government's portion of the ETAL debt, can the MEC please indicate as follows? Has a loan been secured? 1. 2. From which institution or institutions has it been secured? 3. How much was borrowed? 4. What are the terms for repaying the loan, including the schedule and amounts for the repayments? And finally, which source in the Gauteng budget will be used for the repayment of the loan?
Honourable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Members, hoping that you can hear me. Let me start by acknowledging the question that is raised by Honourable Nell and indicate that the answer to the questions that he has raised, all of them, is that the process of raising the loan with the financial markets or institutions is a supply chain matter. And therefore, all issues relating to it are matters that the supply chain team in the department is working on. And at this point, we will not want to preempt the market and interfere with the supply chain process. The total amount that we are borrowing, we have said so in the budget speech. It remains 12.9 billion. And of course, we have also indicated, honourable members, that we do have our own receipts of provincial revenue that is total estimated to grow over the years. At the point we're talking about 8 billion of our own revenue. And to that extent, we are quite confident that we should be able to meet all the obligations. But with respect to the rest of the other issues, I'll appreciate it if the honourable member can understand these are still supply chain matters in progress, and at the right time we'll update the legislature. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Any supplementary question or a short remark, Honourable Nell?
Yeah, Madam Speaker, thank you very much. It's a bit confusing, this answer, because in his budget speech, the MEC said that they will obtain the finance, they will obtain the loan, and only then will ETAL gantries be switched off. But it seems like that process has gone in the opposite direction. So it's quite interesting. I wonder what guarantees were given by the MEC and this government to the national government to enable them to switch off those gantries without the funding being secured. And if they don't get the loan, they'll have to find it within the current budget of the Gauteng government. And that's very concerning.
Honourable MEC.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honourable Speaker, can I get guidance?
No, it's your turn, Honourable MEC.
Thank you very much. Let me just clarify quickly, Madam Speaker, that there is no confusion on the matter. I think that it is important for honourable members to know that Honourable Nell, on the 5th of March, when we tabled the budget speech, he issued a statement on behalf of the DA, misleading the public that the gazetting bringing to an end the e-toll was conditional on the banks. That's what he said. We have outlined that the loan process is critical to us complying with the directive of the minister to contribute to SANRAL debt and to settle our portion on that debt. We have subsequently had negotiations, discussions with the Minister of Finance and that of Transport, and we were able to reach an agreement on the decommissioning whilst the loan process is on. So there's no confusion on the matter. Is that Honorable Nell jumped the gun by making public statements when he should have started by asking questions. The questions he's raising now should have preceded him making a public statement. The e-toll countries have been decommissioned. We are very much pleased as a province, and we thank the people of Gauteng. We thank and congratulate the Honorable Premier, and that's where we are. The other issues, we are working on them with national government and the province. And to that extent, there's no confusion. It's only him. Thank you.
Next question, Honorable Du Plessis to MEC for Finance.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Sorry about that. Du Plessis and MEC sounds very familiar, very much the same way I'm sitting, but sorry about that. Is it? Okay, thank you very much for that. With regards to motorists in Gauteng who did not pay their e-toll fees, can the MEC please answer the following? Will the debtors book of unpaid e-toll fees be retained by SANRAL or transferred to the Gauteng government or national government? 2, will these e-toll debts be written off? 3, if no to question 2, why not? If no to question 2, what will happen to the e-toll debts? And lastly, if the debtors are transferred to the Gauteng government, will the Gauteng government endeavour to recoup these debts from the motorists? Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker and honorable members. Let me also acknowledge the question. The reply to the whole question is as follows. The Gauteng provincial government has no policy mandate, including legislative mandate, to handle matters relating to the e-toll billing system. And secondly, we were given a policy directive by the Minister of Finance to contribute to the 30% of the total SANRAL debt. We were given a clear policy directive to contribute to maintenance backlogs. And those were the two directives that were given to us as policies that became the mandate upon which we worked on this issue. As matters stand, there is no additional policy directive given to us on any matter relating to billing. There's no law, there's no policy directive. And therefore, this question by the honorable member does not arise. Thank you very much.
Any supplementary question or short remark, Honorable Du Plessis?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Yes, again, the buck is being passed. And again, things that were said was going to happen is not happening, but let's see the future to see what happens with this specific case. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Honorable Speaker and honorable members, there is no buck that is being passed. We work on policy and mandate, and we respect when we have been given a policy directive, we implement it. There's no passing of the buck. The issue here, Honorable Madam Speaker, is that the Democratic Alliance had issued a media countdown. They were running a media countdown, insulting us, attacking us in the typical Steenhuisen manner, saying we will not be able to decommission countries. Now that this matter has been dealt with in the most efficient and effective way, meeting Premier Panyaza Lesufi's commitment in the state of the province address, the DA now is caught up in a difficulty that their countdown was itself decommissioned when SANRAL gazetted against the e-tolls. Now they are trying to create problems for us here and there. We want to say to the DA, please accept that this provincial government has enhanced its relationship of trust with the people, We have decommissioned e-tolls. We have met our target line. And please refrain from trying to create confusion. Accept that the ANC government has made an achievement and enhanced its partnership with the people. Please accept e-tolls have been decommissioned. Thank you very much.
What was your problems, man? You created it.
We are now going to go back to questions by Honorable Nseke to MEC for Social Development and questions from Honorable Miller to MEC for Social Development. We have received an email from the Parliamentary Liaison Officer for Social Development who is indicating that the MEC took ill. As a result, she was consulting at the time when they sent the information. But want to wish, I'm not sure whether the leader of government business has joined the meeting, so that we advise MECs that if an MEC is in that difficulty, they must always request another MEC to present the responses. But what we have, there are responses that were sent direct to us, and I'm sure those responses will be sent. I think that's the procedure, because I can't appoint an MEC to respond. It is supposed to be the department that does that. Unfortunately, it has not been done. So we'll send those responses to members because they've been received by us. The next one is Honorable Shabalala and Honorable Duplessis to MEC for Sports, Arts, Culture and Recreation. With that one also, we have an email direct from the MEC that has been sent that the MEC is outside of the province on other business. There are responses that have also been forwarded, and those responses will be sent to honorable members. I'm sure you heard me when I spoke about the first issue, because the first one, it is the PLO that has sent, not the MEC direct. This one, it is the MEC, I think, will follow through with the leader of government business. I think it's a matter that is beyond us. There's nothing that we can do. The next question, Honorable Chabalala to MEC for Kokta. Honorable Chabalala to MEC for Kokta.
Madam Speaker, the ANC benches, they always say I must ask questions about the department, not about Mfuleni. When I ask about the departments, the MECs run away. So from now on, we'll concentrate on Mfuleni and CDB. Thank you.
Thank you.
With regards to the current okay, with regards to the car rental for the mayor of the district municipality, could the MEC please indicate who is the service provider that is being used by the municipality? For how long is the mayor going to use a rental car? Why is she not using one of the cars owned by the municipality? How much in rents and cents has the municipality paid since October 2023 for rental of her car? Please provide a breakdown of kilometers traveled for each month since October 2023. Thank you.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Member Chabalala has never asked me a question about the department. It has always been Mfuleni or CDB. In terms of Roman figure 1, the service provider that has been utilized by the municipal is Park Travel. Roman figure 2, as indicated by municipality, the rental car was used from 14th November 2023 until the 3rd of February 2024, and due to the nature of these cars, and it is not possible to indicate as to how long will the rental be utilized for. In terms of Roman figure 3, the municipality indicated that both vehicles allocated to the executive mayor had breakdowns, and these breakdowns were attended immediately. The problem to both vehicles continued to reoccur due to the nature of these vehicles. Roman figure 4, as indicated in the table below, these are the figures on the figures that the member was looking for, and I think cumulatively and put together, it is rounded to 219,726. Those are the figures there. And in terms of, yeah, that was the last question on this issue, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Any supplementary question or short remark, Honorable Shabalala?
Speaker, the MEC did not answer the last question in terms of giving a breakdown in terms of kilometers traveled between November and February. Can the MEC please, before I do a short remark, can the MEC please answer that? Thank you.
Honorable MEC?
I'm sorry about that. I don't know how I got it wrong. In terms of Roman figure 5, the response from the municipality is that the detail of the trips undertaken is kept confidential for security purposes and for safety of the executive mayor. The register is available for inspection but cannot be available in public domain as the safety and security of the principal will be at risk. And some breakdown in terms of the dates was provided, and the total kilometers traveled in terms of the breakdown that the member has in front of him, it's about 26,231. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Shabalala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, 220,000 for 3 months for a municipality whose finances is a going concern is too much. And remember, the car that the mayor was used, a foreign substance which contained sugar granules, was found in the engine of the car, meaning the car was deliberately broken. So my appeal to the MEC is to do a sensible thing before his government is voted out by the 29th of May by firing this errant and erratic mayor. Thank you very much.
Honorable MEC.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm not going to help the Democratic Alliance in its electioneering campaign. We will deal with the facts as they are presented before us. I'm really not interested in any to enter or to join them in their election campaign. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable MEC. We have also received an urgent question in terms of Rule 135 from Honorable Schneemann, but our response to that one is that in terms of the response that is required is not applicable to an urgent question. So what we will request the Honorable Schneemann to do is to actually send that question direct to the Honorable MEC for Roads and Transport. Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our business for the day. The date of our next meeting is Friday, the 10th of May, 2024 at 10 hours sharp. The House is now adjourned. Thank you. We'll talk outside.